Welcome to the Tarryn Reeves Show, where your journey to empowerment takes center stage. I'm your host, Tarryn Reeves, best-selling author and publishing expert. Together, we'll dive into the hearts and minds of visionaries, disruptors, and trailblazing leaders to explore the most compelling and thought-provoking ideas in life, business, and marketing. Let's inspire, impact, and ignite. This is the Tarryn Reeves Show. Alrighty, brilliant humans, welcome back where storytelling meets strategy and your book becomes your biggest business card. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever picked up a book, probably one someone has raved about, read the first page and thought, oh dear Lord, make it stop? Yep, we've all been there. And if you're an entrepreneur writing a nonfiction book to grow your brand, you must not, for your reader to have that reaction. Because let's face it, first impressions matter. And in books, that first page is quite literally everything. So today we're diving into something that might sting a little, but in the best way possible. Is your book's opening turning readers away? Are you unintentionally wrecking it before it even gets rolling? Don't worry, I've got you. We're going to cover the biggest mistakes that sabotage your opening and how to fix them like the authority building boss that you are. Grab your pen, your tea, or your third coffee of the day, maybe even a little margarita, and let's get into it. All right, here's the deal. Your book's opening is like a sales pitch. It's your chance to say to the reader, hey, I know something you don't, and if you keep reading, I'll change your life, your business, or at the very least, your mindset. It sets the tone, the authority, the voice. And if you blow it, you risk losing them forever. There's no second date if the first one was a disaster, especially for entrepreneurs. This is your moment. That first chapter can be the bridge between a browser and a buyer. So let's talk about what not to do first. We're going to look at some common book opening mistakes and how to avoid them. Mistake number 1, info dumping your life story. You know the type. Chapter 1 starts with, it was a crisp morning in 1984 when I was born in a small hospital. Stop. Unless you're Oprah, we don't need your full autobiography up front. Instead, start with relevance, start with transformation, hook them with a moment that matters to the reader, not just to you. Here's how you fix it. Ask yourself, what does my reader need to know right now to trust me and keep reading? Mistake number 2, teaching before you're trusted. I see this all the time in nonfiction books by entrepreneurs. Chapter 1. Here's the 5-step framework that will change your life. Cool. But who are you again? If your reader doesn't know, like, and trust you yet, they're not ready for your brilliance. Here's how you fix this mistake. Lead with empathy. Show them that you get their problem. Share a quick story that positions you as someone who's been in the trenches and come out alive, preferably with coffee stains and a killer lesson. Mistake number 3, starting with a cliche. Here's what these sound like. If you're anything like me, this book will change your life. I never imagined I'd be writing this. Ugh, yawn. Reader's eyes glaze over faster than a donut in a bakery window. Here's how you fix the cliche mistake. Surprise them. Use a powerful statement, a statistic, or a question that shakes them awake. Here's an example. At 3 a.m., I was Googling how to fake your own death and move to the Bahamas. That's how bad my business burnout got. Now, something like that will get attention. Mistake number 4, writing like a university thesis. Honestly, this is probably the most common one I see for entrepreneurs. Listen, you are not being graded by a crusty professor in a brown cardigan. So drop the stiff tone. You're writing to connect, not to impress. Here's how you fix the university humdrum. Write like you speak. If you'd say it in a keynote or to a client, you can write it in your book. Just clean up the ums and swearing. Maybe just a little bit. Mistake number 5, burying the promise. Too many authors hide the wire of their book behind fluff. If your reader doesn't know what they're going to get by page 3, they're going to bounce on out of there. Here's how you fix it. Make the promise bold and clear at the start. By the end of this book, you'll know how to insert specific result, even if you've insert problem or obstacle that the client is facing, right? Now let's talk about what makes a powerful opening. Now that we've unpacked the landmines, let's build something brilliant. Here's what a killer nonfiction book opening includes. An attention-grabbing hook. Something bold, unexpected, emotional, or funny. A relevant story or moment. One that positions you as the credible guide and creates connection. A clear articulation of the problem. Help your reader feel seen. I know where you are, and I've been there too. Here's how I can help. Number 4, a powerful promise. Tell them what's coming and why it's worth them sticking around and continuing to read. And lastly, give them a preview of the journey. Tease the transformation. Something like, here's where we're headed together, is kind of the vibe that you want to give. Let's look at a real world example breakdown from one of my authors, right? She opened her book like this. The day I almost burned my business to the ground, I was crying on my kitchen floor, surrounded by half-eaten toast soldiers and sticky post-it notes. Now, an opening like that, we're in, right? We're curious. She then shares a relatable story, positions herself as someone who got through it, and clearly states, this book is for the business owner who looks successful on the outside, but feels like a hot mess behind the scenes. We're about to fix that. Boom, baby, we're hooked. Let me put that together. The opening of this book. The day I almost burned my business to the ground, I was crying on my kitchen floor, surrounded by half-eaten toast soldiers and sticky post-it notes. This book is for the business owner who looks successful on the outside, but feels like a hot mess behind the scenes. We're about to fix that. So good, right? We're in. We want more. Right. Practicality, because you all know by now that I love to give you some practical tips. These are some practical writing tips that you can use literally today. If you're writing or rewriting your book right now, this is what you want to think about. Write your opening last. Yep. Once you know what your book really says, your opening will be 100 times stronger. Now, when I write, the way that I like to do it is I will do a very average opening and continue writing from there. What I will then do is jump back to the opening once I'm finished, because then, like I just said, it's going to be so much more stronger because now I know what my book is really giving. The next tip is to read it out loud. If you stumble, it's clunky. If it sounds like you're trying too hard, chances are you probably needs adjustment. I want you to also ask for feedback, not from your mum, from someone who's your ideal reader and who will tell you the truth. Cut the fluff ruthlessly. Less is more. If you can say it in fewer words, then for the love of God, please do it. Nobody is interested in your 400-long paragraph just to get 1 point across. Lastly, I want you to think about leading with transformation and not a timeline. The reader cares more about what's in it for them than your childhood pet's name. So if the information you're including is not relevant or interesting to your ideal reader, leave it out. It's fluffy. Right, let's bring it home. If you want your book to work for your business, to attract clients, open doors, and position you as the authority, your opening matters. So remember, no info dumping, no teaching before trust, no cliches, no academic waffle, no burying your book's promise. Instead, what we do want to do is hook them, help them feel seen, make a bold promise, start strong, stay real, and keep it relevant. Alrighty, people, that's it for today's deep dive. If your book opening needs a glow up, now you've got the tools to do it. And if you're feeling stuck, this is literally what we do. At Automatic Authority Publishing, we help entrepreneurs like you craft nonfiction books that build your brand, grow your business, and actually get read, because otherwise it's just a very expensive little craft hobby. If you want help, head to automaticauthority.com and let's chat. Until next time, go write something powerful. That's a wrap on today's episode. If you love the insights and inspiration, don't let it end here. Hit subscribe to stay connected and turn your visions into reality alongside our community of changemakers. I'm Tarryn Reeves. Thank you for joining me. And remember, your story has power. See you in the next episode.